Hey guys, how's it going? Sky here with another video. In this video, I want to talk all about Unleashed Potential. It's been a few months since the new Unleashed Potential patch has gone through. I think it's made massive changes to the game. And this is by far the biggest priority for most players is all the resources required to utilize Unleashed Potential. I wanted to just go over all of it. In this video, I want to talk about how picking a character, what the best passives that you gain at the end of Unleashed Potential talent trees, how to farm all of the different resources involved with Unleashed Potential. I think this is a really important topic, so let's get into it. Tell me which resources are required for Unleashed Potential. There's 3 of them currently. All of these are very important. I would say solar seals in particular are very important, very slow resource, and you need a ton of it to unlock each character. New currency, the ultimate orbs, these are going to be farmable. You don't get many per month, but it does take a lot of farming of arena and embodiment of avarice to actually be able to purchase these guys. The type of resources you're going to use on these characters is really going to depend on the rarity. This applies to rare, legendary, and then fated characters. Fated, I should start with because they're the easiest. You go into Unleashed Potential, every single character to unlock it, regardless of rarity, is going to cost 300 zest. There's going to be one of these 3 currencies involved. For fated characters, it's literally just the ultimate orbs. It takes 20 per tree. It's going to take a very long time, so you really want to make sure you're picking the right character and you're leveling the right talents here. Rare and legendary characters, they're a little different. When it comes to legendary characters, this initial tier here takes 4,000 solar seals, and then after that it's going to take a lot of these nation specific currencies. I believe it takes 2,000 here. For the speed, it takes like 1,000 per level there. See how it's 1,000 per level. 10 of these guys, 150 times 10, and then this one is 300 times 15. It takes quite a long time to be able to get that. Then all that does is just unlock the ability to apply the new Unleashed Potential with the ultimate orb. Ton of resources, especially for the rares and legendaries. This part has been open a lot longer, so if people are really diligent on farming their solar seals and farming their nation currency, then they would already be done with this, and then it would just be pure ultimate orbs. So next I want to talk about how to get this currency and how much you can expect to gain if you're a free-to-play or if you're spending for each particular currency. Important thing to talk about first, so you get an idea just how rare this resource is, so you can appreciate just how careful you got to be on which characters you want to pick for this to actually unleash their potential. Let's just start with the nation specific currency. This is by far the easiest one. It's just very time consuming and it does take levy stones. You're gonna go to the dock here, pick the corresponding nation. Gonna be dependent on each character. All you gotta do is explore when you're in the right area, and then you'll get that currency. There's mainly 2 ways to get solar seals. One of them is going to be side story. One of them is going to be through dispatches. Side story is going to be the best way, up to 280 per day. So how it works, these 2 characters or these 3 characters are required, and it's on a rotating list. So you're going to want to have these guys leveled up. Do it really quick so you can kind of get an idea how much you get. I believe it's 280 or 285. Yeah, so 285 is the guaranteed amount. It has very weird requirements. Here's the rotating list. At least it tells you the rotating list so you know which characters and a lot of these are good rares and stuff. Mainly these used to be a lot of characters that would double dip on the old challenge requirements, but we don't need challenge requirements anymore, but we still need these solar seal requirements, and solar seals happen to be so important nowadays. So I think it's really important to prioritize these particular characters you want to level up, especially if you want to get to the point where you're quick battling it. So you have these 2 characters here, and then it's going to take 2 commons and 2 nature. How I remember it is it's always going to be 2 commons and it's going to be some element associated with it. And I believe it only does fire, water, machine, and nature. The days that are hard, or that it requires 3 people, especially when these 3 people are bad characters, like this one is tough because you're always going to be stuck with this common requirement and a particular element. And it's not always necessarily the case that the element of the characters that you're going to be on rotation, especially when there's 3 characters required. Like look at surprise inspection, like all 3 of these characters are trash, really bad characters that are required, and you're going to be stuck with commons as well. What I've been doing is slowly leveling up certain characters, getting it to the point where I can just auto it, but there's certain days that I just can't do it yet. I think it's really important to do this. Like I should have already had every single character required, in my opinion, for this should be level 75. Ideally, what you're going to want to do for the commons with signature force, because I know it's funny, but common characters can use signature force, pick the commons you have that have the signature force that you have unlocked, and then it makes this significantly easier if you can't just auto it like I can. The only reason why I can auto this one is because I have rare on here, because it's 2 required characters and then 2 commons. But what if this was 3 characters? I probably won't be able to auto it here. I just have a ton of battle power here from Rara, so it makes it significantly easier. But if I don't have this good character here, I'm stuck with all these rares and commons, might not necessarily be able to auto it. but that's how I like to think about doing this. What I'm going to end up doing, especially when me trying to want to try other characters, level up other characters, because essentially nowadays characters are really not worth investing in, especially for PvP. If you're not willing to unleash their potential, they're going to be not even half as strong as they could be. I'm finding myself constantly out of solar seals. I think this needs to be a massive priority. To be hitting this every single day, just that important. And then there's going to be a couple other things, as you can see from solar seals. Exploration is a way to do it, because if you run into Gale during exploration, it's like a lucky event, and if you beat him, he's like this guy right here. I don't even know how to describe him, but you hit for 1 damage and you got to get lucky and stuff. So if you've done the events where you get the fake core version of Gale, it's really nice to have him in your party because he's guaranteed to crit and he doesn't miss. Slug run event, to be honest, I never do. I don't know if this is worth it though, because it costs solar seals to enter. I just couldn't be bothered. Oh, did I just win? Oh, no. This is exactly why I can't play this damn game type. Expected reward. If you single play, it's garbage. If you multiplay, then you can get 180. I'm going to leave that up to you guys if you want to do that, because you could also get the currency for Unleashed Potential. Do you want to say it? It's just, for me personally, I just don't care. So let's talk about how to get ultimate orbs. Listing them in no particular order here. First way is going to be this monthly season mission. Usually always have some way to get ultimate orbs. In this case, you get 3 of them from just participating in PvP. You also get 3 of them. I believe you needed 20 rank 1 equipments, and then you get 3. Let's go to the shop here. There's 2 ways here. This dude's shop, it's 5 or 6, but I snap by these every single month that this resets. It takes 28 days for it to actually reset. It takes 1,000 PvP tokens here, or medals, to be able to purchase it. So I just buy them all out. The embodiment of avarice, this beads of greed currency, and you can use it to buy them. I believe you can get 5 of them here, and they take 100 of these currencies to be able to buy them. So I just snap by all those too. Another way to get them, if there's like events, like random events that are going on through the game, a lot of times you're going to be able to get them from that. Random amounts really dependent on each event. The Exos pass, you get 5 of them here. At level 9, you get another 5 at level 21. But then if you bought the pass, you get 5 and 5 up to 20 from the Exos pass, up to 12 if you pay for it. So 6, I personally don't pay for it. A lot of people on the Discord have been talking about buying it. I don't blame them, to be honest, because it's so impactful. It like really, especially if you're competing in the top of arena, it'd be really discouraging to play against people that don't have it. But me personally, I've never bought one of those packs yet. The only thing that I've bought are the Exos passes. I'm hoping that it's kind of going the way of the Holy Water of the Universes, where in the beginning, this currency was massively sought after. Now I have 59 of them. You know, I have all these characters rank 1 ready to go. I don't have a problem with that currency anymore. Kind of hoping that ultimate orbs go that way, but definitely going to take a while for that to happen, especially. But at this point, it seems like the meta is pretty stable. There's really not too much change going on. So once you kind of have your core characters ready to go, I don't think it's going to be that important unless you're just trying to like max it on a ton of people. Trying to be competitive in tag team. At the moment, I think it's an okay pack. I don't think it's a fantastic one. Slug run currency, good luck with that. It's going to be the biggest pain in the ass. You need 2,500 just to get 1. At least you're getting solar seals in the process. If you guys are willing to play it, then by all means, I mean, you're going to get more resources than me, but that's another way to get the ultimate orbs in solar seals. Coliseum, I feel like this could have been one of the funnest parts of this game, Coliseum, but then they have the auto system or 7 rounds or something like that. So this is another way to get 2 more ultimate orbs if you guys are playing Coliseum. Out of the 2, I would totally choose Coliseum, but I don't really play either of them. I feel like Coliseum is by far one of their biggest missed opportunities. So that's it with the currencies, like actually getting the currency. So now we understand just how much we can probably get throughout a month and how much it takes, because it takes 20 per row of characters for the ultimate orbs. When it comes down to it, you're going to need these ultimate orbs. It's just for the legendary characters and the rare characters. We're going to need the solar seals and the nation currency to even get started. But the ultimate orbs is what it really comes down to. Figuring out which tier to go through, because 20 to get through one of these tiers, you need 60 to complete a character. You have a ton of characters, like, so 60 times 5. If you wanted to fill out your full team, assuming you're really going to commit to that team, what to look for. And the things that I've found as the best, the big thing to look for first is going to be these big stat boosts. 750 attack here, 675 defense, 4,750 health. It's finding these just major boosts to your stats that I think are going to be the first priority. And for a lot of these characters, that's like all I've done. I think this is just a good starting point. Like, for example, Rachel, I got the 750 and then I got the almost 5,000 health there. But then for the characters I'm really investing into, because I'm Greenland, I've gone all the way. How do you figure out where to go all the way with on these characters? A good thing to look at is effect here. If you look at the very bottom of the tree, you get this unleashed potential effect. The way I looked at it is I'm prioritizing my team for PvP. I think that's pretty clear that where all these characters we're really trying to boost these for PvP. That's where this is really going to matter. Harder chapters for the campaign is obviously going to matter, but mainly this is PvP. What's going to actually work there? The ones that I look for that I really like, these effects are the same across passives. And what I mean by that is you're going to see the same effects on focus fire characters. On the A1, the A2, and the passive is all going to be the same. On a manualization character, you're going to see the same passives on all of these guys. Block characters is going to be the same. Stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of repeating of these effects. You don't need to check them all. The effects I look for, so for in Greenland faction, the one I really liked was bind. You can get an AoE bind, a flick target with bind. And I get this question a lot in my videos, like what is bind? And bind just stops the enemy from gaining mana. And so you can AoE do this. And so every single character on their team doesn't gain mana. And I really like to pair this with Annie. So you can do this turn one, boom, their whole team can't gain mana. And then they just like auto you and you get a whole free round essentially. So that's super impactful. The character that I think is the best with that is going to be Dorka, because she doesn't need Annie to actually activate it on her A1 here. Afflicts target with bind for 2 turns when the attack hits. It's just her 2 mana. She starts the game, boom, she hits everyone with bleed, hits everyone with bind. She's really good with that. From a defensive standpoint, the ones people are really looking towards are going to be the 30% AoE reduction and the 15% damage reduction. And why I'm saying that is because it's worded weird, but it makes sense when you look at it. So you go down here and all these cleanse characters have this, where it's reduced damage against all allies by 30%. So that means that's like, they should put it in brackets, like against all allies. So it only reduces the damage of AoE effects. And then if you look on characters like Tauntalo, they have on their passive, they have a reduce all damage by 15%. It reduces everything. Reduces all allies damage by 15%, can't be stacked. I don't believe it reduces damage on himself, it just reduces all allies damage. Those are the effects from a defensive standpoint that I really like. And then, like, let's look at some other factions. A big one that is popular right now is going to be Rachel's faction, because April has made this faction actually really good. If you look at the type of PvP, people are really using this faction. Don't blame them. Now that we got the fake core memory for Rachel, it makes it actually viable. When it comes to these characters, all of them have these resets here. Resets turn 1 time per round if mana is under 3 after the skill hits. Right here, gains mana to self at the start of the round. Resets turn 1 time per round if owned mana is under 3 after the skill hits. All these counter characters have that ability. So Rachel does, so does Xeon. So Xeon's gonna go AoE. I really like this effect. If you're gonna pick one, I really like this effect on these big AoE burst moves, because it guarantees that you're going to be out of mana. If you look at the effect here, if you're under 3 mana, resets turn 1 time per round if owned mana is under 3 after the skill hits. Burst moves, this is amazing for, because it's going to guarantee that you're going to go again, and you're going to get the reset. If you kill someone, you have a lot of ways to proc it. I believe they patched it to where it's not going to just constantly stack. It's a very effective combo there, guaranteed that it's actually going to go off regardless, because you have a burst move. Same with Rachel. Rachel has a burst move on his move here, and then when he one-shots someone, resets the turn if target dies. You know, there's a whole bunch of potential here with these effects. You're really going to be making sure people die, because you have April reducing a ton of their damage, to assume that they all have dishearten, or at least most of the front line and stuff have dishearten. Those are the effects I'm looking for. Manualization characters have that too, this turn reset. I really started to appreciate it after I got it on all our moves. Did it with manualization characters, had the same kind of passive. Unleash potential effect grants mana to self when the round starts. So has the resets turn 1 time per round if owned mana is under 3 after the skill hits. Those are the things I look for. And then lastly, back to what I was saying about the main stats, I like to, all these generals have passives that require some kind of stat line. Like Shifraka needs the most defense, Rachel needs the most attack, Bathory needs to have the most attack on her team to add her effect. Especially for people like Dorka and people like Bathory, sometimes it might not be worth it to completely max them. On Rara, I could go here and then I could get all the way up to this attack increase, 700 attack is going to be well over Bathory's attack. It's easier to get my Rara's attack up than it is from Bathory's. I've chosen not to do that, to keep Rara under Bathory so I can keep the Tranquil passive on Rara. Ideally, just be able to completely max her and Bathory would just have more attack, but I can't do that at the moment. These other characters like Shufraken and Rachel and stuff, I kind of like them a little bit more because, well, I still think Greenland's the best faction, but at the same time, it's a little nicer with these characters because literally there's no limit. Your team doesn't matter. You can't have too much attack. You want to have literally the most. Your attack's trying to be better than theirs. Whereas with Bathory, it's like, yes, you want a ton of attack, but you don't want too much attack. So it's kind of like you're playing against yourself a little bit. That's pretty much it when it comes to these passives. I know this is a long video, so if you stuck through till the end, that's awesome. If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments below, but I really wanted to just do a full video on this because I think this is just such an important topic. I think it's worth going really in depth on this particular topic. With that, guys, I am out. Peace.